At the center of this show is the patriarch, John Dutton. And with Kevin not returning, your characters interact with him a lot.
Yeah.
How do we see the storyline continuing without leaving fans, disappointed or just feeling unfulfilled about his storyline?
Well, he's very present still.
He is the most present
Yeah.
character in the show still.
Yeah.
Everything revolves around the storyline of him. And now it's about the characters around him and how they function in this new situation that they find themselves in.
Yeah, and the maturing of the characters, the growth of them and responsibility. I think she was talking about that earlier. I think that's the right word. There's a tremendous amount of responsibility on the two of them. And including, the brothers as well. So, but he's very much present. And, obviously we can't go into the details of the story, but
We hope we don't let the fans down.
Hi, everyone. I just want to reach out and let you know that after this long year and a half of working on Horizon and doing all the things that's required and thinking about Yellowstone, that beloved series that I love, that I know you love, I just realized that I'm not going to be able to continue season 5B or into the future. It was something that really changed me. I loved it, and I know you loved it. And I just wanted to let you know that I won't be returning. And I love the relationship we've been able to develop, and I'll see you at the movies.
Was headed. It was, can these kids do it without him? So we all knew it was going to get there. We just didn't know how or when, and clearly it was different than we thought. But what it did do was ramp the show up to a 10, and now, everything starts to unravel.
We miss him. He's a huge part of the show, and he's a great guy to have around, and wonderful to work with. And so, I wish him all luck in the world, but we definitely miss him.
No, I didn't see it. I heard it. It's a night. So that doesn't make me want to rush to go see it. I didn't leave. I didn't quit the show. And finally, when they wanted to change it a third time, because I had my obligations to do, I had 300 people waiting for me. I couldn't help them anymore.
I wrote down a quote from the last season that really stuck with me. John said,
I got one child I miss, one child I pity, one I regret. But that girl, that child I envy.
So I was wondering how Casey's actions are impacted by John's opinion of him.
Yeah. Which one do you think Casey is?
The pity one.
I would think so too. And I think he pities him because clearly whatever happened to him overseas when he was at war has messed him up to his core. And even before that, the only flashback you ever have of Casey is when his mom dies, and he's there, and he's the only one with her, and he watches her die when he's that little. So, the guy's life has been ridiculously tough, right? So yeah, I think he pities him just because he knows it's not his fault, but he's got a lot of demons.
I think John's opinions in particular, Jamie, is it's a big motivator in his life, in the sense that he doesn't get any from John, and he's just desperately looking for it, and it's confusing for him because he's done everything asked of him, including change who he is as a fundamental human being, and so that fuels Jamie in every scene.
I'm one of those folks who's kind of gutted that you're not going to be in Yellowstone anymore.
I loved making that thing. And when it came to me, it wasn't on the radar of anyone. One season turned into 5. And then I wanted to work, obviously, more than once a year. And I kept Yellowstone in first position. But it needed to stay on course. It needed to have an exact amount of time so that I could go ahead and do other things. The idea that I just wanted to do more than one thing a year. 5 years later, I realized I just have to stop to make sure that can happen.
So I saw the video that you placed out there on social media.
I just realized that I'm not going to be able to continue. I love the relationship we've been able to develop, and I'll see you at the movies. In this midst of doing press for Horizon,
yes.
What are you going to do? Just thought, well, let's take away the mystery. This is not going to happen.
You won't appear at all in the upcoming season?
No, I'm not in any of those.
Do you know what's happened to your character?
No, I haven't.
Oh, God, it's been a journey this last year, but a good one, and I had a blast along with the cast and the crew, kind of wrapping up this this unbelievable show that we've been doing for now 7 years.
When you think of those words, end of an era, with this show, knowing the magnitude and where you guys reached with this show, how does that feel? Because I imagine it's bittersweet.
Listen, I always look at the positive, and I think, at the very end, the last day I was sitting on my horse and I was looking at the backdrop of Yellowstone in the mountains, and I just thought, wow, what an office I've been allowed to play in. Cowboys don't say goodbye. They say see you later.
The final season of one of the best westerns the world has ever seen is finally here. Well, it's almost here. Part 2 of Season 5, the finale of Yellowstone, is coming in hot in November 2024, and fans couldn't be more excited about it. To add to the anticipation of one of the best shows in modern history, the finale's also been a long time coming.
The dust is now beginning to settle on Yellowstone's turbulent final season, but it hasn't cleared the question of what happens to the Dutton legacy without its fearless leader. In a surprising and unexpected turnaround, Kevin Costner, whose powerful portrayal of John Dutton brought this Western saga to life, has stepped away from the show, leaving both fans and cast members wondering how the story will go on without its iconic patriarch. Today, we dive deep into the raw, candid reactions of the cast, from moments of nostalgia and gratitude to reflections on how Costner's absence changes everything. Join us as we reveal how Yellowstone prepares to deliver one last unforgettable ride without the man who built it. Kevin Costner exits Yellowstone before final episode. Yellowstone, the world's biggest TV show, is gearing up for the second half of its 5th and final season, premiering on Sunday, November 10th at 8 p.m. on Paramount. And sadly, fans are preparing to bid farewell, not only to the show, but to Kevin Costner's iconic character, John Dutton. Costner's departure from the hit series, which has held audiences spellbound since 2018, marks the end of an era for the sprawling Montana-set drama that follows the powerful Dutton family and their struggles to protect the largest ranch in the state. Costner's exit has left an indelible impact on both the cast and the storyline, and has been an essential part of the show's massive success, drawing over 17 million viewers. Wes Bentley, who plays John's son, Jamie Dutton, shared his thoughts on working with the legendary actor, saying, "He is such a big part of this show. I feel so lucky to have been able to work with him." Reflecting on the moments they spent together on set, Bentley noted, "I learned a lot from him as an actor, but he is also a storyteller, a director, and he's also a really interesting guy who knows a lot about history. We had a lot of great talks, so I'm just grateful that I ever got to work with him." Costner's departure wasn't just a creative decision, but the result of behind-the-scenes conflicts and scheduling issues that became increasingly public. In May 2023, reports had surfaced that Costner would not return after Season 5, starting off the rumors of a rift with the show's creator, Taylor Sheridan, and leading to speculation that the series itself would end because of his exit. Sheridan, for his part, addressed the departure in an interview, explaining, "My last conversation with Kevin was that he had this passion project he wanted to direct," referring to Costner's long-planned film, Horizon. According to Sheridan, it seemed that Costner was prioritizing this project over Yellowstone. Costner, however, offered his own perspective, pushing back on the idea that he was walking away from Yellowstone to focus on Horizon. In a May 2024 interview, he told Deadline, "Yellowstone had first position in my list of priorities. I didn't do Horizon because I was tired of doing Yellowstone. That's a bullshit story. I didn't do Horizon to compete with Yellowstone. This project is something I've had a long time." He further explained that Horizon was originally planned to fit around the shooting schedule for Yellowstone, but he claimed the production kept moving the schedule in ways that didn't align. "I was straight up with Taylor Sheridan, and he said what we would do, and I believed him. And we didn't get there," Costner stated. Costner admitted that while he cherished his role on the series, he had to come to terms with the reality that he wouldn't be able to continue. "Thinking about Yellowstone, that beloved series that I love, that I know you love, I just realized that I'm not going to be able to continue Season 5 or into the future," he shared. "I loved it and I know you loved it. I just wanted to let you know that I won't be returning." How Yellowstone cast are reacting to Costner's exit. As the cast adjusts to Costner's absence, each member expressed how his character's departure shifts the dynamic of the show. Luke Grimes, who plays Casey Dutton, the youngest of John's children, emphasized the weight Costner's departure brings to the storyline. When you lose a presence that big, it carries that weight in the story too. You know, he's John Dutton. He's the patriarch. He's the movie star on our set. So of course, when he goes away, that changes things. Grimes then added that Costner's absence will not go unnoticed in the story. But art imitates life, and it's going to feel that way in the story too. I think in return, you use that weight and make it something very compelling for the story. In another interview with Variety, Grimes admitted that returning to the set after a 2-year break was challenging, especially with such a major shift in the cast. I was having a really hard time locking back in. I've been playing this guy for a long time, but a 2-year break? It's hard to find that nuance again. Grimes explained that reading the final episode was a powerful moment, which helped him reconnect with his character. I had a feeling that was going to be what hooked me back in, and it worked. I read the final episode and I was a mess, but then I felt like I remember who he is now. Other cast members also aired these thoughts, acknowledging the void that Costner's exit leaves, but expressing faith in the storytelling. Ian Bowen, who plays ranch worker Ryan, took a practical view, noting, "As they say, the show must go on. You must do your part, and the rest of it works itself out." Denham Richards, who plays Colby, another ranch hand, admitted that the set drama around Costner's departure and the extended break between seasons led him to question whether they'd return for a final chapter. For a lot of us, we thought maybe 18 months ago that was probably going to be the end. However, Richards expressed optimism about the show's future, adding, "It's the next man up, right? He's been a juggernaut for over 4 decades. I've had the opportunity to learn so much from him. Of course, there's going to be some gaps that you feel, but I think that creator Taylor Sheridan has written characters that have so much depth, and they've been able to fill in those gaps." The decision to continue the story beyond Costner's involvement proves not only the show's loyalty to its fans, but the enduring strength of the ensemble cast and characters. Wendy Moniz, who portrays Senator Linnell Perry, a close friend and sometimes romantic interest to John, expressed a mix of sadness and closure as the series draws to an end. "I'm feeling a little sad, a little bittersweet, but it feels like it's time," she said. Moniz acknowledged that the filming the last episodes without Costner felt different, but maintained that the strength of the ensemble helped carry the narrative forward. "We are such a strong ensemble, and it's so much about the storytelling of the family." John Emmett Tracy, who portrays Ellis Steele, a character set on transforming the Dutton Ranch into an airport, reflected on Costner's contribution to the show's legacy. "Clearly, he's a Hollywood legend, and I think his involvement in the show is a huge part in making the show legendary. But I would just say people are going to enjoy the way that this series is going at the end." As the second half of Season 5 begins, the cast and crew are hopeful that the remaining episodes will do justice to the series' legacy and to Costner's role as the patriarch who fought to hold on to the Dutton family's legacy in the face of adversity. While Costner may no longer be the face of Yellowstone, his presence and influence are deeply woven into the show's tapestry, shaping the characters who remained and the story that will ultimately unfold in his absence. What Kevin Costner's exit means for Yellowstone. Kevin Costner's exit from Yellowstone signals a major shift for the beloved series, with a mix of logistical challenges and emotional farewells. Due to salary disputes, creative differences, and scheduling conflicts linked to Costner's commitment to Horizon and American Saga, the show's producers, including creator Taylor Sheridan, had to make the tough call to move forward without him. Costner's deep involvement in Horizon as well as scheduling inconsistencies limited his availability for Yellowstone, making his continued role in the series unworkable. Losing Costner as John Dutton III presents a massive moment for Yellowstone. As the show's central figure and patriarch, John's departure could profoundly affect its storyline and tone. Writers will now have to face the difficult task of deciding his character's fate. Will they kill John off, have him leave abruptly, or surprise fans with a final cameo? This decision is especially weighty given that Yellowstone is approaching its final episodes and needs a memorable send-off. Though a 6th season has been hinted at, Paramount may choose to see how the show performs without Costner before moving forward. The cast, including Luke Grimes, has understandably mixed feelings about Costner's departure. After years of working together, Costner's absence marks the end of an era. Yet with silent rumors of a sequel series, the cast now has a unique opportunity to keep Yellowstone's legacy alive. While it is bittersweet to say goodbye to such an influential co-star, there is a sense of relief as they resume filming and dive back into the world that fans adore. So what do you think about Costner's departure and the eventual end of Yellowstone? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments section below.